What the juck is, everybody? Janda here, back at it with another Ctene Boss Mule showcase. This time I'll be spotlighting the Blaster. Same hexa as the Hayato and the Kana, so let's just get into it. So to have a quick overview of the Blaster, this is where it's sitting. It's kind of juiced. It has quite a bit of a decent level of hexa investment, especially since it's focused like the Hayato and the Kana. But its gear is just on another level. You can see that it has a lot of 22 pieces of gear, 22 stars on its gear. Even has a legacy badge, but it still has a 12 star, some 12 stars. So it's not like the best thing ever. Anyway, to get this thing to be the same spec as the Hayato and the Kana, we had to take off a lot of gear. So yeah, we're basically running naked on the Blaster, and so we're sitting at 95 mil CP, and this will sit us at that juicy, or that sweet spot of 46.4k HEXA. I think juicy about that. We went down in power. But look, I want a fair assessment of showcasing these classes the moment they liberate at around this level of hexa investment, since that's what the Kana's at. And I can just despec all the other ones to this level, so you get a good idea of just how potent these classes are. Now, Blaster has a core mechanic that I quickly want to go over, and that's its bullet gauge system. So this thing here basically dictates your damage, and the combos you all hear about, the scary hand-breaking combos you hear about, what blasters have to go through, it's all about this gauge. And so basically, whenever you use your main skills, Monkey Punch or Double Blast, a bullet is consumed, and then when you use all 6 bullets, the thing goes on a small cooldown where you can't consume bullets. And each time you consume a bullet, you will proc this thing called Revolving Cannon, which just gives you more damage. Every time you proc Revolving Cannon, you get a little like tick up here, up to 6, and then you can unleash the big stuff, Bunker Buster Explosion, and just, yeah, you go all out. So the premise and the core combo for Blaster can be easily broken down to this. So we have, let me actually show it's all on screen. So it's bobbing or weaving. These are your 2 dasher skill, left or right. You hold them down, then you use a skill, then you release bobbing or weaving to dash, and then you jump to cancel that dash. So you can see it here. If you just let it go, you kind of just go flying, and then there's a bit of end lag where you just can't do anything. But if you press the jump key, you will interrupt it, and you go crazy. So bobbing and weaving will cancel the animation or whatever skill you have, and then the jump will cancel the animation of the dash. So you're effectively canceling twice. And there's also 2 different ways where you can cancel. The normal way is with jump, but you have this C thing here. So if you right-click the skill, you can then just press the skill again after letting go to then cancel it. So it just saves you having to use 2 buttons. Most blasters that I've seen just use this method, since it's the tried and true method of animation cancelling on the class. And then we move on to the core combo for the class, and that's the no reload combo, which effectively does what it says. You will never reload the gauge. Now, this example's poor for me because I'm a dunce at this at this combo, but effectively this is what happens: is that you just keep on reloading bullets constantly, and this is possible because whenever you release a charged bobbing or weaving, it gives you 2 bullets. I don't know how it does it. Hey, magic, all right? But you get 2 bullets every time you unleash a charged skill. And then this is the full combo in all its glory. Again, there are like 3 different ways to perform this combo on a keyboard. It's actually crazy how much flexibility there is now. So you hold bobbing or weaving, use double blast, Magnum Punch and Double Blast, and then you let go at the end of the animation, or basically halfway through Double Blast, into bobbing, weaving, into jump, and it looks like this. This is with the 6 jump skills, so everything. It looks fucking crazy. Like, look at all these explosions. He's going fucking crazy. So here I'm going bobbing, then weaving, going back and forth, so I can remain somewhat in the same position. And again, you can basically you can hold both these skills at the same time, so you can kind of alternate between them. All right. So, and of course, this is the juice. This is the big one. This is Bunker Buster Explosion, where once you have full gauge up here, on the top one, you have full stacks, you let loose, huge explosion. This goes on like a 7-second cooldown before it cools down. The Bunker Buster Explosion itself doesn't have a cooldown. It only requires stacks on this gauge, and the gauge to be not on overdrive or whatever. Yeah, over limit. Cool. All right, now what saved this class for me? So before Blaster was very combo dependent. It was if you had animation canceling basically everything, and I was ready to drop the class. But the balance changes saved, not only did it bring new breath, new life into this class for me, but it saved the class for me. That's because it had two major reworks on Hammer Smash and Cannon Overdrive. So Cannon Overdrive is the big burst. This is like the crux of the class. Without this buff, it has no burst. Same could be said before the balance changes, and the same can only be said after the balance changes. So before, you had like a 30-second window to basically get to max stacks of the gauge, this one here, max stacks, and then use Bunker Buster Explosion, because when you activate Cannon Overdrive, there is no cooldown. This like full thing is just not there anymore, and you just keep going and going and going. The tech was you press Cannon Overdrive, and then you're just spamming no-load combos, and there's other variations where you're just getting as many stacks to then throw out a bunch of Bunker Buster Explosion, and you keep repeating that. I think like the tippy top echelon of like Blaster Sweats could get anywhere from 23, I think even some cases 25 if there was end lag Bunker Buster Explosions within that 30 seconds, which is absolutely crazy. And this is, again, I think this was on dummies only. I don't think this is actual boss performance, which is a whole nother story. Anyway, now it's a much simpler mechanic where you just pop it and you get two new buffs on your buff bar. You get your enhanced Hammer Smash, which is now not even a skill unless you're bursting, and then you get your overdrive stacks. So this means that regardless of any time you're using Cannon Overdrive or you're bursting as Blaster, you will always get 20 Bunker Buster Explosions during every 2 minutes. So you will always get the 20, which is much cozier and you're less pressured. I, for one, could only get to like 13 or 14 within the 20 seconds. So this was a major buff for me with this balance change coming out. And then with Hammer Smash Blast, this is a crazy burst skill. So Hammer Smash kind of works the same way as bobbing and weaving, where you can hold it and then release it to gain. Works the same way. Animation cancels, refunds you bullets, but it kind of got reworked. Like before the balance change, you could do like a non-moving combo with Hammer Smash, Double Blast, and Magnet Punch, where you just basically use Hammer Smash as a stand-in from bobbing and weaving. Now it's no longer used, and it's much more simpler now. We'll go into it. And this is the new burst combo. So this is being dubbed the Hurricane for blasters, as you're effectively just holding down this macro key. Like you just hold it down and boom, it just lets rip a ton of damage. Here we go. This is it. So buffs are popped, and then you can see the thing goes down. So you have 38 of these bad boys. You hold it down, and it just shits out damage. This is with a 5th job skill called Rocket Punch, which is also your bread and butter for bursting. And so using basically 4 skills here all at once, and it's just going blah, 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 blah. Absolutely, it's very satisfying in my opinion. So yeah, this is a actual new way to burst on Blaster, and actually far less intensive on your fingers. You're going from having to like cycle between 3 or 4 keys in a rhythmic pattern to literally holding down one button and just shitting out DPS. It's like, what the fuck? Why even do the other method? So, TLDR, the comboing in Blaster is more damage. But there is a much easier way, and the damage loss, at least to my level of ability, isn't that much. So, again, just to quickly go over, this is your Bunker Buster Explosion stacks. So, you can see how the cooldown just doesn't go away anymore. Oh, there's no cooldown. It's just instant. I can use Bunker Buster Explosion, get 6 more gauge stacks, and then use it again. And it's just, this just goes down one by one. We'll get 20 of these. Anyway, is this everything I have for show and tell? Anyway, so the new combo is you hold down the Hurricane, and then you've got like, after the Hurricane's done, you have like 90 seconds to use these 20 stacks. And with the testing that I did 3 of each, 2-minute test. Didn't use Origin in either, and also didn't use infantry skill since they're kind of just, they're going to be the same. So it's just more of an inflated BA than it is. But the damage is quite competitive. Now, the biggest standouts is that I'm quite slow at the combo, the no reload combo. I'm only managing out of the entire thing 167 Double Blast Mega Punch. But you can see with the no combo, it kind of skews itself. Magnet Punch does a little bit more. That'll blast a little less. And then we can go over all these numbers. Try and pause so you can actually see. The 2-minute test, 45.7T compared to 44.7T. And then in the last one, yeah, 45.3 versus 44.2. So average damage with comboing, 45.24T. Average without comboing, 44.27. There's only a 2.2 difference at my skill level. I'm thinking to myself, are you fucking kidding me? I go through all this work just to get 2.2% more damage. I mean, look, some of you may be like, I'll do it. I'll get that damage. But for me, I want this to be an easy, simple boss mule that I can just take into my, I just want my money as simple as possible. So that is what I am doing. And let's actually showcase how long this takes at this spec. Thank you for the app. I'll hopefully have some timestamps to avoid this. Yeah, look, I love talking about Blaster. It is the only class that I basically jump into Mulong's dojo and just lab it out there for hours. Like, no other class does this for me. It is definitely, there is that ceiling there, that upper echemon's like, damn, if I can just get a little better, I can do more damage. And there's also this way to where we can be like, cool, I don't need to fret about DPS. I can just turn my brain off and hold a key down and be fine. All right, let's get into the actual, the run. Alrighty. Sorry for the double music there, but I digress. All right, so we start off by not pressing the play button on the prep screen, but that's okay. It doesn't matter, as we will grab some buffs and head on out to the healer. The healer is actually one of Blaster's most annoying bosses to do because it has force movement. Bunker Buster Explosion will force you forward, and then you kind of have to get good by quickly using, I think it's weaving. Weaving takes you back. Look, bobbing, weaving, they do the same thing. But so you just got to try and play around with disengage. You can also jump and then use Bunker Buster Explosion. Your movement doesn't get forced, which is a great boon. All right, so V healer, little tricky here. So I just open up with the Origin, and I am using a Raw 3 in this showcase, even though I showed Cont in the window. I showed the Raw 3, it's all good. The burst is actually better now that I am using basically the burst build on Blaster, which is, it's kind of weird. Even call it that. But I am not engaging with the dashing mechanic on the class. Like, it is like, and then again, there is a certain like skill ceiling, way to showcase some really crazy mechanics you can do with Blaster. With bobbing and weaving, you can kind of cancel it and like skate around. Like, you can combo with flash jump, you can kind of skate around the battlefield. But look, all that stuff is too much. This is a Ctene boss mule for me. Maybe a Legion champion. Like, I'm still thinking about it. Depends how I feel when it gets more gains. But I do find the class a little bit more engaging now that I combo it like this, because it was kind of annoying having to wait at the 7 seconds to constantly use Bunker Buster Explosion. Now with this, it's kind of, you send out your juice, you hold down your Hurricane, you can see the Hurricane going off now. It's a cool, you're standing in one spot going absolutely crazy. And then they've got 20 stacks of Overdrive to just consume into multiple Bunker Buster Explosions for a consistent stream of DPM. And I don't need to worry about, because when you fuck up the no reload combo, you can kind of push yourself forward and back with like involuntarily. Yeah, so it can get very finicky, especially when you're in a tight or like a precise boss room mechanic like V healer here, where you have to be conscious of the strings. Both with Bunker Buster Explosion forcing you forward, and then trying to balance between bobbing and weaving, which both take you forward and backwards. All right, so this is looking like I did it again. I did all this work to record all this cool tech about Blaster. Not really cool tech, I guess. I didn't record how long each run takes, but more or less, I'll do math. It's fine. We got a cheeky ring box. Is this a Raw 4? No, it's a fucking Raw 2. God, baited. But that was a 7-minute and 60-second V healer, which is not too bad. Look, it's no like healer, like Blaster, it's no Hayato or Kana performance. But Blaster is roughly, I think it's now a 55-45 split. DPM definitely went down in exchange for more burst, so it's a bit more balanced, which I kind of like. I think it's in a nice balance here. So one of the core mechanics that I don't interact with is weaving and bobbing, which also reduces how tanky Blaster is. So Blaster gets 2 types of defense. It has an overshield, so whenever it takes damage, a portion of it gets converted into a shield. And then whenever you release a charge skill, you get like a 35% like percentage attack reduction on like everything. And then like on Blaster release, this shit was like uncapped, so you could like just perma-tank like Vellum Tails when that was like the most scariest thing back in 2016. But yeah, that is one of the downsides. Or you could force the 35% damage reduction with Vitality Shield. I've got it here on this key right here, which is like a 15-second. God, my memory is shocking. It's a small window of just having that shield automatically, so you are pretty tanky. And then I don't think I have it on right now, but if you add Renlink onto Blaster, you're basically immortal. And then outside that, you have an on-demand iframe at about a 1 minute. I think it's a 1 minute cooldown, maybe longer. I think it is 75 seconds. And then you've got the 1 minute burst, which puts you into an iframe status. And you've also got Hyper Magnum Punch, your hyper skill that has an iframe on it as well. Which is great stuff. And you also have one of the best up jumps in the game that can send you flying. I use it quite a bit, as it's my preferred method to move around, because it's so flashy, where you can just jump up and just fly, basically. So it's great stall. Like each detonate, it's called, we'll just use a bullet. But that is, on the dot, roughly a door-to-door from V-Healer to Killing Darknell, 7 minutes. That's pretty good. Like, I'm enjoying this pace. Like, this is respectable, so considering I am not comboing, like interacting with core mechanics of the class, I'm finding these times respectable. To be fair, I haven't done a combo run at this spec. This was like, I took all the equips, I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's try this out. I think this is a great, like, example of, hey, if you really want to play Blaster and the combos put you off, but you still want to play it, you can still play it. Like, it's reasonable. And then you always have this, like, this crazy ceiling that you can strive for as you get more and more comfortable with the game, with the class. And it's always fun. When a class has, like, an infinite ceiling, I just died there. Excuse me. I could have easily tanked that, I'm pretty sure, if I was actually comboing. But yeah, this class has like an infinite ceiling, which is always nice to have. Like, this is like a great character to main. Similar to like Zero, Cadena. Who else is up there? Merc. Evan. Evan, though, doesn't... Look, I've heard on the grapevine, Evan doesn't have the juice to back up. It's how much effort you need to bring into it. To an extent, old Hayato, but we don't talk about that anymore. But I like, despite my issues with Blaster, despite like main swapping to Adele back in the day, when I came back to the game and heard about Legend Champion, I really wanted to make Blaster work. But every time I was playing, I'm like, damn, this is so annoying, so frustrating. But then the balance changes are like, no, we got you. Here's just a streamlined experience. And I'm having a great time now. It's a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to the gains the Blaster makes, making this even faster, and trying to take this into harder bosses. Because like, I was thinking, like, how am I supposed to focus on comboing while dealing with mechanics from Black Mage and Hard Saren? I think Kalos is fine, but then again, I haven't done Kalos that much. But with my experience in the other two, in Black Mage and Hard Saren, I'm like, goddamn, how am I going to focus on both of them? Like, when you're comboing and going between bobbing and weaving, go grounded. Like, you can't really get out of it real fast. You can't like up jump out of mechanics. Ducking becomes a little easier because you got to make sure you do it at the perfect time after you finish a combo. So that's Gloom done in what, 6 minutes? Another 7 minute run. So that's about a 7 minute run-ish. Some change. That's including the there was about a 6 minute run if we take off the 1 minute takes for Gloom to open, so still not bad. And as for Commander William, Blaster actually has DPM, so we're not punished as much as Hayato or Kana, and we can actually get through these segments quite easily. But yes, I've had trouble trying to deal with trying to duck while comboing, because there's just so much focus. Because not only are you battling the boss mechanics, you're battling your class mechanics, which is always a tough thing. But yeah, great class to play when you already know the boss mechanics. But you just saw there that Blaster also has its own class bind, which is quite nice. This used to be a grapple or a suppress, where you'd literally not be able to do anything, so the boss can't do anything. But it was an iframe, but it also added to the bind timer, so you could get the iframe and just ruin everyone's day because it binded the boss when it may not needed to be bound. But now they've reworked it where you can just release it and works exactly like all the other binds, which is a fantastic addition. But Will is very comfortable as Blaster because you do have the DPM to try and get through here. So I have burst up going into phase 2. I'm good to go directly into it. So we just, look at that, just completely nuke segment 1 of phase 2. Go through test. And we still have residual burst up, so we can just pierce through segment 2, which is absolutely crazy. Like if this is like kind of higher, it would be chipping out, trying to get past it, but no luck. But this is like the benefit of having higher DPM at the cost of lower burst. And it only really matters mainly for Will, as the other bosses don't really, like, to an extent, Lucid and Lotus and Damien, since they're multi-phased bosses. But we have everything up for phase 3, and this is the big burst as we just do a pretty good job at getting through Will, as I ruin it by dying. It also looks a lot faster because I had this on 3x. But we're looking at what an 8-minute clear? 8 minutes? Yeah, give or take 8 minutes from door to door, or leaving Gloom going to Will. So that's pretty good. Like I'm very happy with this speed. Like sure we have to, like, I'm pretty sure with Kana and Hayato we were killing slime at this point. So look, there is a big difference in terms of damage in these classes. But you'll see that after I showcase like the Ren and the Adele, this is more reasonable clear speeds at this spec. Like Kana and Hayato are the anomalies. They have the juice. Whereas the KMS classes, the normal ones, this is their level. Alright, so I don't use Origin for Lucid Phase 1, and I managed to chip out of Phase 1 Lucid. And then we have everything's up, so we can bind and burst and send the big one. So even though, like, Bunker Buster, a Bullet Blast, which is this skill here, the 1 minute burst, and then you've got Gatling Punch down here, is your big 2 minute burst. They kind of make you stationary. And for a boss like Lucid, ideally, because like Bullet Blast gives you an iframe and you get the 35% reduction with Gatling Punch, you kind of don't need to be iframe to use it. But you remain stationary when you use these buffs. So a mobile boss like Lucid, I like to bind it first and then release those 2 skills, even though they'd be best used to kill the boss on lockdown for the Hurricane. But it's what it is. I should also mention the Hurricane isn't really one where you can move around in. It's literally I stay in one place, and that's it. I get hit by a golem, but that's about it. So that was a 6 minute Lucid run, which is pretty good in my books. That's like perfect for this spec. It's like just before Origin came up again. But here I don't bind slime initially because we've got the Origin bind it again, and then we just punch it. So I think that was the initial burst, got it to like what, 75%, and then we've got all of the overdrive Bunker Buster explosions. As I fail to see this boss's attacks. So I couldn't even get through all of the overdrive, so you can see up here. But did manage to at least give off or deal 30% damage. It's not too bad. If that was 3% more, it would have been a little easier, because then it would be on spec to clear this in 3 bursts. Honestly, I think you got to get to like 63, maybe even 60%. If you want to do a clean 3 bursts, because your second 2 bursts are lower because you don't have Origin to juice it up. We're nearing the final. So there at the end, we couldn't even get through all 20 stacks. Got through 12. Got at about 41.1%. So we did about, that's actually not too bad. We did like, what, 1.3% less than Origin burst. Yeah, Blaster does also have a mini burst in the form of you throw AB Link with Bullet Blast, and then you can throw your boys out the squad with infantry resistance. And this got juiced up as well. Be a lot more damage. But not quite enough. I do eventually throw out the Ascents. Do I? It starts to heal as well. Yeah, it's a... have to go through 3 tests. But look, it's close. It's very close. The Origin's up now, so this is more than a 6-minute fight, which is saying it's not too bad. But this would be the clear. 7 minutes. I don't even use Origin. I just like, you know what, I'm just going to burst out. Use the Hurricane, because the Hurricane's fun to use. And boom, that's slime done. So, leaving Lucid, like, what, 8 minutes? I didn't think I got a slime ring. And now we just wrap up. So at this point, both the Hayato and the Kana were done. Now we have to do Damien Lotus, and then the baby boss is still. So it's going to be, what, other 10 minutes? We just... Int and Damien. We can blitz through these. There's nothing much crazy. Look, it's Damien and Lotus. It's like we've all seen this, but we'll get to the clear. I've already yapped about everything about this class. That's Damien killed in like what, 2 minutes? Like 2.5? Nearly, nah, it's more nearly closer to 3. Finding a drop coupon because I don't think I didn't have one for Damon. That was my map. Just didn't get it. I really need a map for the blaster. Segment my burst here a little bit with Lotus. And then I don't need to wait for it all to be back up, so I can just let it rip. Bullet Blast into Origin, into Ascents. And it's not quite enough. But I have some, I think it's the Origin, or Jenny iframe here. And it dies. That was a... It's like a 3.5 minute run, so it's not like it is... Could be faster. But then we have the Ascent to kill all the baby bosses. So it's light work here. Yeah, that's me yapping for like 30 minutes. Honestly, I could yap more about this class. I'm just happy that it's now in more of a playable state, and I don't have to be frustrated, or it was always like this daunting feeling like, oh, I gotta do Blaster again. Ugh. It's always scary, like, damn, I invest all this time in a class, and now it's, like, hard to play. The VOD's breaking. But now there is an easy-to-approach way to play it, and now enjoy it. So, wrap it up now. Gonna do some inventory management. Make our 5.2 big ones. And we did it in about 53 minutes and... All right, cool. There we go. Pause. 53 minutes and 39 seconds. So about 10 minutes slower. 12 minutes slower than the Kana. And even though it's only 10 minutes slower than the Hayato, that time for the Hayato was wrong. Well, it could have been like 6 minutes faster. The Hayato's really can be done in 38 minutes. To an extent, the Kana as well can go even faster because of its RNG playstyle. Blaster, though, it's very consistent, especially if you're not comboing. With comboing, honestly, you can go either way. You could take longer because you fuck up the combo, or you can go even faster. if the BAs are anything to go by, and I can be 2% faster, then this runs like, what, 52 minutes? Maybe I get out of a boss one burst or whatever faster. But then again, I could even go even further beyond. If I get like even better at comboing, maybe this class can go like below 50 minutes in beyond. But for me, that investment isn't worth it. I'm not made in this class. I don't need to like Destiny lib on this thing. If you do want to see better blasters who actually play this this class to its full extent, check out Heat Boy. He's been playing Blaster since release. Check out Vey. I'll link them all into the description below. And of course, if you wanted to learn more about the class as well, the Blaster Discord is in the description as well. They're very welcoming, and they will ask any of your questions, or answer any of your questions. Yeah, that would do it. From my end, as always, thank you all for watching as we get to the cheeky end screen here. And yes, have a jack and good day. Catch you all in the next one.